Oh, good. Hello everyone, you're most welcome to our YouTube channel. Yes, today we are going to make a dress. It's kind of a gathered dress, but it's half gathered. I don't know if that is the right word. Yeah. So we are going to start with pattern drafting, and I'll start with okay. So we are going to start with pattern drafting. Should I draw the front and back together? Okay. Let me begin with the back parts. So from the back, I'm going to take away 2 inches. These 2 inches, as always, they are for the zipper allowance. So we are going to start with our vertical measurements. But before we do that, I'm going to put our starting line here as well. So we are going to take our measurements, the vertical measurements, shoulder to bust. Shoulder to bust, mine is 10. Shoulder to waist, 16. The rest is the dress length. So here we are going to take shoulder to bust again, the same as we did the other side. Yeah. We shall take also shoulder to hip. Yeah, I'll take shoulder to hip as well. So I'm going to make these lines. Okay. So I'm going to take my neckline. I'll use a neckline of 3 by 3 inches. That's the standard, but most people fall between that. So you take your shoulder, divide by 2, and I'll come even on the bust line and take my shoulder, divide by 2. I'll come up by 2 inches and make a line here. This is now the chest line. Okay, so we are going to come here from the shoulder line down by 1 inch, and we shall make a line here, a slope. Remember, our shoulders are not straight, so this is a shoulder slope. Okay, so we are going to connect this line to this line, but make sure you target the 7.5 inches you measured here. So we are going to indicate our neck as well. Okay, so let me see if I can use this pattern to do the front and the back. This is, remember we said this is our back neckline. Now we are going to make a back neckline, 1.5 inches. You'll make 1.5 inches. I'm going to try to see if I can make the front and the back together. Okay, so I think I should make the back, then I'll come back and make the front. So I'm going to get I'm going to come here and measure the nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5. I'll come on this line here and divide this line by 2. So I'll just fold like this. Then I'm going to come here and connect this line to this, and I'll also measure the 3.5, which is the nipple to nipple measurement, and connect it here as well. Okay, so for the back, I'll use this pattern as dart lace. I'll not put a dart in the back pattern. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come on my waist and measure my waist, divide by 4 plus 1 inch, which is 8.5 plus 1 inch, which is 9.5. I'm going to come on my bust line. Bust divide by 4 plus 1 inch is 10.5. I'll come on my waistline, use the same measurement I used for the bust line. Then I'm going to measure this line that connects from the shoulder slope to the chest line and divide it by 2. After dividing it by 2, I mark the center point, and I will make an armhole here. So I've told you we are dealing with the back first. So I'm going to come here on this hip line and measure my hip, divide by 4 plus 1 inch. So my hip divide by 4 is 11.5 plus 1 inch, which makes it 12.5. So I'm going to use my rule to connect here like this, and then connect from here. Oh my goodness, to here. So I'll take this line to down, okay, and I'm going to take this line for the hip line also straight to down. Okay, so I'm going to improve my pattern a bit, but before I do that, I'm going to make the neckline. I'll add here 1 inch on the neckline. I'll come here. I'll come on the hip line and add 1.5 inches. 1.5 inch. Yeah, it will be here. So the rest I'll just take straight down. This marker is not writing well. Let me try to check another marker. Okay, let me see how this will do. So I'm going to connect the points together, this to here, to here, to down. This is zip allowance, right? So here from the hip line, I'm supposed to go like 5 inches. Then I measure back the 1 inch that I used in the first place. Then after, I take it straight. Okay. So remember, we slanted here in by 1 inch. So we are going to replace that 1 inch on this side. So I'm going to replace the 1 inch for zip allowance on this side. Okay. For the back, yeah, for the back, not for the front. So I'll do this and come here and do this. Okay. So I'm going to first come out, then cut out, then I'll see how to improve it a bit, if that will even be possible. I'm doubting if it will be possible, but I'm hoping it's possible. So we are coming here up by 0.5. I use my eyes to measure that 0.5 all the time. So another thing you can do here, you can snatch in the waist a bit. So you can come here by 0.75 on each side of the waist. And connect this here and this here. So this helps avoid zipper bulging in the back. So I will cut but not break. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to split this pattern into two, and then first cut. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of this. 2 pieces for the lining, 2 pieces for the main fabric. Hi Carmen, how are you? Hello keepers. How are you doing? So I'm going to cut the center back first. And I told you I'm going to cut 4 pieces, 2 for the lining, 2 for the... So you can see it's on fold already. So this is the center back. We don't need zip allowance on this side, but we shall put zip allowance this side, okay? So I'll bring my pins and pin. Whoosh. You have to be careful. Oh my God, it's not very well stuck. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. Okay, so we are going to cut out these parts. So I'm leaving a sewing allowance of 0.5 in the middle, and I'm not measuring it. I'm using my eyes to measure. Sometimes it might be smaller, you'll see. I've cut smaller than 0.5, but what to do? I trusted my eyes more, and it has disappointed. So you can measure your 0.5, okay? You can measure your 0.5. So this is 4 point what? 4.25. I'm going to make a straight line to here because I want this to be my full length, and I'll make a straight line up to here. So I'm going to take it straight. Okay. Now I don't need sewing allowance, as I told you on this side, so I'm cutting without sewing allowance this part. Okay, so we are done with the center back. Now I'm going to cut the front, the side back, sorry, not the front, the side back. And I'm also going to cut 4 pieces as I did in the beginning. But for this, I'm going to cut to a point. Then for this, I'm going to cut up to the waist, to here. Okay? I'm going to cut up to here. I'll not cut all the way down. I'll stop at the waistline. Okay. We are not leaving sewing allowance again. As I told you already, I put sewing allowance on the shoulder, so I'm not putting another sewing allowance on the shoulder. And I don't put sewing allowance in my armhole. You can do that to your pattern if you're used to that or you like it, but I don't like sewing allowance in my armhole. Personally, it's a personal preference. And on this side, we are not adding sewing allowance because we already added sewing allowance. So on this part, we are putting something like 0.5. Okay, so this time I'm not going to cut very small. So when you reach the waistline, you are going to go down by something like 1 inch. Okay, just for joining allowance. So this is my waistline. This I'm cutting is joining allowance. Okay. So for the side back, we only cut up to the waistline. So I'm going to improve my pattern now. I told you I need to improve my pattern a bit after cutting the back pieces. So I'm aligning this pattern again as it was originally. Okay, so this pattern was like this. I'm taking it back to the original pattern. It was like this, and this part was like this. So I'm going to seal my pattern again. Where did I put the sealing tape? I'm sealing back my pattern to its original form. I don't want to make another pattern, please. The pattern be merciful to me. Okay, so we are going to join this line as well and this line as well. Let me check another tape. Can't find my tape. Where did I put it? Anyway, let's start from here. I'll look for it later. So we are going to improve this pattern a bit. So we are going to come here on our waistline. This was our waistline, and put an allowance of 1.5 inches. So I don't know if you can see. We are going to put an allowance of 1.5 inches on the waistline. So on the waistline, the 1.5 inches, we are going to take 0.7, 0.5 on one side and 1 inch on one side. So we are adding 0.5 on one side and 1 inch on one side. So we are going to come here on the hip line and do that as well. 0.5 on one side and 1.5 on one side. So we are going to come here and go down by 1 inch from the bust line. After that, I'm going to measure an under bust line. I did not measure it because for the back it wasn't necessary. So I'm going to make this line here. So this is the under bust. Okay, now on my under bust, I'm going to take the same measurement, 0.5 on one side and 1 inch on the other side. 0.5 and 1 inch on this side to make that 1.5. So I'll come here and do this. I'm making the front pattern here. So I'll come here and do this. Then I'm going to connect this to down, up to down. Yes. And I'll come do the same thing. I'll take this from up to where my pattern stops, up to down. So it's supposed to be 0.5. Okay. So this is how our pattern is going to be. But again, on this line, we are going to contour a little bit. So we shall come we are going to take a dust, what is it called, a bust dart here, okay, here. So I'm going to take a bust dart of 1.5 inches. So 1.5 here, and I'm going to connect it to this part like this. So there is a dart here. Okay, so we are going to take our measurements again. So I'm going to come on the waist. My waist is 8.5. 8.5 when you add 1.5 inches is 10 inches. So I'm going to remove, I will use the, so I'll cut, I'll not add sewing allowance on this pattern because if we add sewing allowance, this space will not be enough. So I will add the sewing allowance when I'm cutting. So I'm going to measure here. I'm going to measure 8.5 for the waist. That is the 8.5. The waist divided by 4 is 8.5. This is the right line, 8.5. So we are going to add the dart, which is 1.5, which is 1.5. So the sewing allowance, I'll add it later. And on this line, so this is the line we are going to use. And then on the bust line, we are going to measure our under bust measurement, divide by 4, plus this 1.5 again. We are not also going to add sewing allowance. We shall add sewing allowance when cutting. Okay, now we are going to join this. We'll use a ruler. So this is what we are going to use. Okay. So we are going to cut out this. Remember, for this side, we are making up to the waist. And remember, this was zipper allowance. Since we don't need zipper in the middle, we are cutting off this. Okay. We are cutting off the zipper allowance because we cut the front and fold. And also we have to change the neckline. We made 2 necklines, one for the front, one for the back. So we are cutting off the back neckline and remaining with the front neckline. And another thing, we are coming here and coming in by 0.5 inches from the center of the chest line, the center point of the chest line. We are coming in by 0.5. So 0.5, we are making another armhole. So this will be our front armhole. So we are cutting it out like this. So this is just improving the pattern, the back pattern a bit, to use it to cut the front pattern. Okay, so we are coming here on this part, splitting this line. We are going to make it like this to make a bust dart. So for the front pattern, this is what we are going to do. We are not going to cut from here as we did. We are not going to cut from here. We are going to cut from here, from this black line. Okay, so that is our center front. So we are supposed to close here. I'll close with a pin. Can't find my tape now. So these are the parts we need to cut the back. Okay. So we are going to keep this. We are going to use it again, but let me first cut the center part. This is the side front, and this is the center front. Okay. So I told you we are cutting everything on fold. So let me cut this. I told you I need 4 pieces. So I fold in, and remember we did not add sewing allowance on the side of this. So we are going to add the sewing allowance for cutting and sewing allowance this side. So I'm going to pin. Okay. Push. Sitting me. I'm going to add 0.5 inches on the center part. If you can measure, because sometimes in the cutting without what you can erase. Yeah, so you see I had. So we are going to add sewing allowance on the side. I always don't add sewing allowance in the armhole. I don't. And here we've already added sewing allowance, so we don't add. I leave this one, this space here. Let me shape it well. Because I shortened here by 1.5 inches here. So I add some small space there. So let me cut the other parts, the front parts, and then we shall see what next. The front part we're cutting on fold. We are cutting this on fold. So I'm folding and getting 2 pieces of each because we need a lining piece as well. Okay. So we are going to get this and place it here. Make sure it's on the real, it's really on the edge. Okay. I'm going to come and make a straight line up to here. And when I'm cutting here, I will add sewing allowance, okay? Okay. So remember, we cut half pieces for the front and for the back. You can see we cut half pieces. So what we are going to do is to get this. Yes? Biscuits? Yeah. They want? Remote. Not hot? Okay. So we are going to make, what is it called? I don't know. Imagine me who's making the pattern, I don't know. So I'm going to make the down parts of this dress. I told you I want it gathered. I want it gathered. So it depends on how gathered you want your part to be. You can multiply it by 2, by 3, by 4, depending on how much you want to gather it. Okay, so I'm going to use this piece and make 4 pieces of this. Okay, so I'm going to make 4 pieces. I'll make them equal because it really does not matter now. Yeah, this piece we shall just leave it like that. It doesn't matter, the difference is not so much. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this to make the skirt part. So I need times 2 or times 3 or times 4 of my waist, and we cut off some inches, so I need times, let me measure this. This is 7 inches. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, so I'm going to eat. So I told you for this cut I need 4 pieces. 4 pieces times 2. Okay, 4 pieces. I'll not multiply by 2. 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. Those are 4 pieces. So I'm going to measure 28 inches. This does not make 28. Should we use this as it is? Okay, let's use 20 because it's already times 3, which is not bad. So I'll take away the 16 inches. 16 what for that shoulder to waist. I'm going to take it off. So 16 is out. This 16 I'm measuring is for the upper part. Chest to shoulder to waist is 16. So I'm taking away the 16 inches. The remaining one will be the skirt part. So I use this red marker. You can rub it out if you want. So I'll come up by 1 inch as the joining allowance. So this is the 1 inch. So the rest is going to be the skirt part. Now what I'm going to do is to place this here. I don't know if you can see very well. So I'm going to first cut off these parts here. And then I'm going to cut from here to here. So I'll add the sewing allowance. Can add like, yeah, just. Okay. So I'm going to divide this by 2. So we are done with cutting our skirt part. That's all we have to cut. And we are going to sew. We shall stop wherever we shall stop and do the rest some other time. So I'm going to sew. Give me a minute. Hi Lubika, how are you? Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from, my dear? So we are done with the cutting. Everything is cut. So the rest is. So we are going to join. We are going to join this here like this on the sewing machine and then gather and then make gathered stitches. Also the same for this. And then gather. Okay. So let me first sew the upper parts together. Then we can come on the lower parts. So we are going to sew. So we shall start with the center front. So we have two pieces, the lining pieces and the other piece. So I'm going to take one piece first and join it. So you notch, remember they are curved or bent edges, you notch on them. Okay, if you're using fabric, you're supposed to press, but I'm not using fabric, so it's not necessary. Okay, so it will not be necessary. So this is now my lining piece. I'm going to do the same as I did on the first part. Whoosh. Okay, we are now done with the front piece. Let me put it aside. So let me work on the back pieces. Oh, this is not the one. Whoosh. Oh my God, I messed up. So I finished that. Finished the lining pieces and the frill. So what we are going to do, this is what we are going to do. I'm going to join the seams together. Okay, so we have our lining piece and our main fabric piece. So we are going to arrange and sew these pieces together. So I'm going to align the armholes. So I'm going to first sew around this armhole like this, and sew around the armhole, and then open it up and sew in the ditch and sew in the ditch. So that's what I'll do. Then I'll come back and see what to do next. Next. Give me a moment. Let me take a sip of water. So we are going to sew around like this and on this side, okay? So we are going to open up the armholes and sew in the ditch. You only do this when you're not going to add lining. When you're not going to add sleeves, okay? So if you're going to add sleeves when you have a lining, you don't need to sew here. You can just sew the neckline and the shoulder line. You don't need to sew the armhole. But since we are not putting sleeves, I'm going to sew in the ditch or in the crease, exactly where we sewed the other type is where we are going to sew. Okay, so I'll take it down. So you take it slow that you sew in the exact place. So we are going to the other side and doing the same thing. So since we have no press, we cannot press this kind of fabric. I'm just going to straighten it up with my hand like this. So if you are using fabric, you can press with an iron or a steam iron, whatever you're using. So the armhole is done. You can see it's done. Now we are going to do the neckline. So you change it inwards like this and do the neckline here, and come also here and do the neckline here, and also come this side and do the neckline of this side as well. So that's what we are going to do now. We are going to finish off the neckline. So you have to pin, I'll pin so you must make sure the center is facing the center, so that you don't mix up things. Even here you come and pin. And also come here and pin as well. So we are going to sew here, here, and here. So don't sew too much. So like 0.5 inches, yeah, or less, because we did not even put allowance in the neckline. So something small. We are going to sew here as well. So we are going to sew here as well. must notch all these curves. Okay, so we are going to open up and sew in the crease. This is our neckline. We are going to top stitch it. We are going to sew in this ditch, exactly in the ditch. Okay. Okay. So you open this up and yeah, we pull and I pull in a bit because this fabric is not the usual fabric, so it's sometimes wrinkles a bit. So I'm going to do these parts as well. These parts here. This is the shoulder line. The back neckline, not the shoulder line. So I am saying shoulder line. So this side as well. Okay, so we are done with top stitching our neckline. Everything is done. Now what is missing is the shoulder line. What is this called? Yeah, the shoulder line. Joining the back and the front shoulder lines. So we are done with the upper part. Now we are remaining with joining this part, but we are going to join it this way. So what I usually do, I hold one of the seams. You can hold like this, here like this, and after holding, I'm going to get this and put it inside like this. I hope you have seen what I've done. This part confuses a lot of people, and it used to confuse me as well. When you arrange this like this, you see it's arranged like this. So you hold one seam like this. Here is the seam and this is the next seam. So you just turn in. You don't leave this place you're holding like this, and then you sew around this. So it's as simple as that. So I'm going to sew around this. That's okay. When this is small, I'm using a small shoulder line. I most times use hands to hand stitch, but this time I'll use a sewing machine because it's not very small. So I'll use a sewing machine to sew around it. this is our neckline. Not neckline, sorry. This is our shoulder line. So when you turn it in like this, you can see, oh, the lines are blended a bit. So when you turn it like this, I did not align everything properly. So this is it. I'm going to do the same thing this side. I will hold the seam lines and just turn in this while holding. I don't leave where I've held. And then I'll sew. So you have to make sure these lines are in the right position, because if they are not, you will get issues with the alignment. As I got in the first case. One chicken? Okay, so we are now done with this. We have finished doing the neckline, the armholes, everything done. Now we are going to join the down parts. So I'm going to, oh my goodness. So I'm going to come and sew here. So we are going to sew here as well. I'm going to run stitches here like this, straight stitches, 2 of them. I don't have a gathered presser foot, so I just use straight stitches and pull the bias at the bobbin stitch. are going to gather these. I'm going to pull the bobbin thread and the bobbin thread also this side. So I'll pull 2 bobbin threads and make gathers. I'll also come on this side and look for the bobbin thread. Okay, so we are going to do the same for this. I'm going to pull the bobbin thread. So we have the 2 sides, and you must make sure that when you measure this and your waist, they are balancing. Okay, so we are supposed to align this together very well. Okay, come here as well and align everything together and in order. Okay. Let me see how much I have here. This is 6.5. My waist, let's say I want 36. Six. Here I have 5. 16. Here I have 10, 9, which is 9. And here I have 9, I think. 10, which is 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 16 is what? Say 18. 18 plus 16. 10 plus 16 is 34. Okay, I have to make sure that I balance this waist, that when I put this on, it is equal. Okay, so this is going here, one is going here, and one is going the other side. So I'm going to sew this on, and I have to leave like 0.501 inch here and 0.501 inch here to join going down. I hope you understand me. So My battery is warning. I have to go. I'll show you the dress when I'm done because my battery is warning. Yeah, I'm almost done. There's nothing much remaining. I'm just going to join this to this part. This is done, so I'm just going to join this to this and this part to this. So it's like I'm almost done, but I feel my battery is on a warning. So I'm just going to join this. Okay, let me join one side, then just go after joining the one side because so remember these middle parts are two pieces. We have to handle them as two, and I'll try to push in this. So whatever I have remaining is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to come here and join this part. Okay, so one side is done. One side is done. I have to just join this. I need to sew here again to make everything match very well. So this is how this side looks like. So we are going to sew this piece in, and that will be all. I'm also tired. So please, I have to stop there. Thank you for watching, you people. Thank you for coming to these lives and watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell. When I put up a new video, YouTube will notify you. Yes, and I love you so much. Yes, bye bye.